Welcome back to the Taiwan Outlook. I'm your host, Wu Ruiguo. In this final segment, we'll continue our conversation with Professor Wang Kaocheng, Director of the Graduate Institute of Strategic Studies at the Tamkang University. Kaocheng, we're going to start off with the tremendous progress that we have seen in relations between China and Taiwan since President Ma Ying-jeou took over the office. There's been 9 agreements and also 1 joint declaration entered into between the two sides. Certainly the first part, the first year since Ma Ying-jeou took over as president, that the emphasis in cross-strait relations is on the economic normalization of ties. And in the future, of course, President Ma has also said in interviews with other media that if he's re-elected in 2012, he doesn't rule out the possibility of political negotiations in his second term. But from now, 2009, until President Ma Ying-jeou is up for re-election in 2012, how would you think that cross-strait relations will evolve slowly from economic issues maybe onto more politically sensitive issues, like what we saw earlier this year with the WHO, World Health Assembly breakthrough, when Taiwan, for the first time in 38 years, was able to participate in a UN-affiliated organization as an observer. So how would you think that cross-strait relations will evolve in the interim 2 to 3 years?
I think probably basically will continue like this, the same pattern as did the first year, because the economic issue, there's a lot still to be dealt with, such as the new issue ECFA. And President Ma says that under ECFA we have many things to talk cross-strait. Probably it will take 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
Also, I think that's true because ECFA is a framework, but there are other many concrete items need to be dealt with. So I think for even from nuclear issues, we still have to allow to deal with, and also increase the flight frequency because
between the two sides.
Between two sides, so far the people from Taiwan still complain that the farewell is high, so it's enough, and they want to have more flights across the strait. And also, I would think that even like you said, the political side, probably we will see some other progress because the joining in WHO should not be our only goals. Besides that, other international organizations or important international activities, Taiwan certainly also want to have the opportunity to join in.
Of course.
So I think following this example from the WHO case, Taiwan probably will continue to push the Beijing to allow Taiwan to have others cases to be enacted. And also, I think like we have seen that also Hu Jintao recently, and the end of last year, also mentioned that the cross-strait, not just the economic issue, but other like political or military confidence building measures, even not officially negotiate, but at least can have first staged contact and discussions. So I would see that during these years, after we have seen more progress in economic side, to have Taiwan's people more confidence on this development, maybe the two sides will also to have some at least discussion through the so-called track 2 by think tank and scholar to talk about these political issues.
Explore the ideas first.
Right.
And you mentioned that the relations between Washington and Taipei have also improved since President Ma Ying-jeou taken over the office. And now with the improvement in cross-strait relations, how would you think the trilateral relations between U.S., China, and Taiwan will evolve in the coming years? Will issues like if we sign the ECFA with China, will we be able to, because of the closer economic relations with China, be able to secure another economic pact with the U.S. may not be necessarily called free trade agreement, but something close to like TIFA, trade and investment, the framework, agreement, something like that. Would you think that's more likely because of the improvement in relations with China? And how would you think the military dimension, would continue to buy arms, military hardware from the U.S.? How would that, because this is traditionally very sensitive with China, how would that impact the overall relations, not only between China and Taiwan, but trilaterally between the U.S., China, and Taiwan?
Right. I fully agree with what your evaluation. I think that if the ECFA can be implemented across trade, certainly our economic ties with the U.S. Will be much better, and likely to have more economic agreement between these two sides. It may not necessarily called FTA because it's a sensitive term.
Yes, of course.
But closer, I think investment and trade relation will be possible.
Yes.
From the military's arms sale, Beijing, even I observe, even with the improvement of cross trade, they still opposed U.S. selling weapons to Taiwan. And I would say that that may also continue to create a pressure on Washington to sell more advanced weapons to Taiwan. Such as the F-16CD aircraft, because one is from the Beijing's opposition, the other is the Washington may say that look, the cross region has been improved, and Beijing has not caused intense military threat to Taiwan. Taiwan should not be able necessary to have those advanced military weapons, aircraft. So one thing for sure, I think, of course, I think Washington will continue to sell military items or military service to Taiwan. That relation will continue. But if the out of that, more than that, more advanced weapons such as submarines or F-16CDs aircraft may not be so possible in the future, I think.
And Kaocheng, we have identified the positive developments potentially, between cross-strait relations and also relations in the trilateral framework with the U.S. How about some of the possible negative factors that you have foreseen that could make the relationship, not only with China, between China and Taiwan, but also the trilateral relationship, between the three countries? What are the possible issues that could really derail the current positive, momentum of pushing the relationship forward?
From my opinion, I would say I don't see too much.
Not too many.
Not too many. Not too many. But if there's some, I would say one is that the change within Taiwan's political scene,
domestic politics.
Domestic politics, you know that certainly so far the DPP still strongly criticized the Mars mainland policies. If in the coming years the DPP gradually revived its political base in Taiwan, that may create obstacles to and constraint to Mars mainland policy. The second one, some people say that the more and more closer relation between Taiwan and China may make Washington a little bit nervous. If the current improvement reaching into the military cooperation side, Washington may increase its concerns, and that might also create some constraint on the cross-strait relations.
Okay. Yeah. And finally, for the remainder of the program, Kaocheng, we know that there are many people watching our program around the world who are very concerned about cross-strait relations. How would, all of us as average, citizen, how can we react? What can we anticipate in terms of this continuing, evolving, but very, very important relationship to not only the security and the well-being of Taiwan, but also to the livelihood of all of us who are living in Taiwan or who have friends and relatives who live here in Taiwan? How can we interpret the changes and be better prepared for what lies ahead?
Well, I think that most people wanted to have a peaceful life,
yes,
and a prosperous life.
Yeah, good quality life.
Quality life. So far, I think the mass policy has already eased the tensions across strait. That means that the less likely to have a war across strait. I think as average people would like to see that happen.
Yes.
And especially during the current international economic crisis, each country wanted their country can have economic revived quickly. So far, because of the improvement cross-strait, Taiwan has a better chance to see that happens.
Okay.
I think most people should be able to see that. Yeah.
Okay, good. I want to thank Professor Wang Kaocheng, Director of the Graduate Institute of Strategic Studies at Tamkang University, to be our special guest today, and we'll discuss a lot of issues from U.S. foreign policy all the way down to cross-strait relations. Thank you very much, Kaocheng, for being on the program. We hope to have you back again when we have another set of topics that are in your area of specialty.
I'll be delighted to.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time on MacroView Television. Thank you.